In a world often obsessed with material wealth and fleeting pleasures, the ancient Stoics offer a refreshing perspective on what it truly means to be happy. Imagine a life where your joy stems not from possessions or external validation, but from the strength of your character and the virtues you embody. The Stoics, including luminaries like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, believed that the key to genuine happiness lies in the pursuit of virtue. They argued that our desires and aversions can lead us astray, causing unnecessary anxiety and emotional turmoil. Instead, by aligning our lives with the four cardinal virtues, temperance, courage, justice, and practical wisdom, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and stability. Are you ready to break free from the shackles of toxic emotions like hope and fear? Are you willing to embrace the notion that your choices shape your reality, rather than the external events that seem beyond your control? By focusing on what truly matters, your thoughts, decisions, and actions, you can cultivate a sense of purpose and fulfillment that transcends the superficial. Join us as we explore the teachings of Stoic philosophers and discover how you can harness your inherent resources to thrive in a chaotic world. Let's embark on a journey to redefine happiness, one virtue at a time. Your path to a richer, more meaningful life begins here, living in harmony with nature for a smooth life. Central to Stoic philosophy is Zeno's concept that a harmonious life, euroia biou, results from living in accordance with nature. It was Cleanthes, Zeno's successor, who emphasized the importance of this last part, with nature, te phusei, or according to, kata phusin. The Stoics viewed the universe as entirely material, imbued with reason and purpose, forming a vast world city where humans, as rational and social beings, are interconnected. Zeno was the first philosopher to prioritize duty, kathekon, as a vital concern, highlighting our responsibility to act appropriately in our roles within family and society. And he taught that we should engage in public life as long as we are able. Zeno categorized the Stoic curriculum into three key areas designed for both study and practice: physics, logic, and ethics. They perceived physics as a rich source of knowledge, logic as a safeguard against corruption, and ethics as the outcome of integrating these studies into our actions. Zeno urged his students to reach a state where their actions were in harmonious alignment with each person's guiding spirit and the will of the universal governor. In Stoicism, God is not viewed as separate from nature. Instead, they believed in a pantheistic view where God is present in all things. Zeno, like earlier Greek philosophers, posited that each individual has a daemon, an inner purpose or genius, linking them to universal nature. Those who maintain harmony between their individual and universal natures find happiness, while those who fail to do so do not. This disconnect between the two natures is a fundamental cause of human suffering, and not how we are intended to live. Therefore, the question arises, how can we prevent this disconnect? True happiness lies in virtue, not material possessions. It's about our values and choices. While early Stoics had their disagreements on various details, they universally agreed that true happiness for humans can only be achieved through the pursuit of virtue, arete, or human excellence. This pursuit requires us to moderate our desires, aversions, and impulses so they align with the four cardinal virtues: temperance, sophrosun, courage, andreia, justice, dikaiosune, and practical wisdom, phronesis. In essence, virtue serves as the optimal framework for navigating life. It's the path we are all meant to follow. These four main virtues and their associated sub-virtues are interconnected and comprehensive, deserving our full attention. Arrius Didymus, one of the key Stoic advisors to Emperor Augustus, provided us with the most thorough list of Stoic virtues. His clear definitions categorize them as crucial types of practical knowledge for living. Wisdom, phronesis, involves understanding what actions are necessary, what should be avoided, and what is neutral. It encompasses qualities like sound judgment, circumspection, insightfulness, sensibility, clear aim, and creativity. Self-control, sophrosun, is about recognizing what choices are worthwhile and which should be avoided, including qualities like orderliness, propriety, modesty, and self-mastery. Justice, dikaiosune, pertains to distributing what is owed to each person and situation. This virtue encompasses piety, giving the divine its due, kindness, camaraderie, and fair dealings. Bravery, Andrea, is the understanding of what is genuinely fearful and what isn't, encompassing perseverance, courage, magnanimity, determination, and diligence. Adopting this perspective requires a fundamental shift in our thinking and attitudes. We must abandon the belief that happiness lies in material possessions and understand that it resides solely in living virtuously. When we prioritize external factors over virtue, we create a disconnect between our individual nature and the universal one that binds us. This separation can lead to negative emotions, anxiety, and feelings of isolation. Contrary to popular belief, notions of good and evil do not exist in the things we desire or avoid. Rather, they lie in our thoughts and beliefs, as well as in the decisions and actions stemming from them. The philosopher Epictetus, a former slave, encouraged his students to concentrate on their reasoned choice, prohairesis, the ability to use reason to decide how we interpret, respond to, and adjust to external circumstances. From a moral standpoint, these external factors are indifferent. They are neither inherently good nor bad. The value we assign to them and how we utilize our reason and choices determines their moral weight. If left unchecked, our desires and aversions, influenced by misguided beliefs, can lead to toxic emotions and significant suffering. Thus, focusing on how we implement virtue in our lives should be our primary concern. Epictetus summarized this concept succinctly. The essence of good is a specific type of reasoned choice, while the essence of evil is another. What about external factors? They are merely the raw materials for our reasoned choices, which define their goodness or badness. How do we discern the good? Not by being enamored with the material. If our judgments about the material are correct, our choices will be good. If distorted, our choices will be poor. Happiness is found in virtue, not in material possessions. The early Stoics may have had different opinions on various matters, but they universally agreed that true happiness is achieved through the pursuit of virtue, arete or human excellence. This pursuit requires us to moderate our desires, dislikes, and impulses so they align with the four cardinal virtues: temperance, sophrosun, courage, Andrea, justice, dikaiosune, and practical wisdom, phronesis. Essentially, virtue serves as the optimal guide for navigating life, representing the ideal framework we should all strive to follow. These four primary virtues, along with their related sub-virtues, are integral and inseparable. Arrius Didymus, a key Stoic advisor to Emperor Augustus, provided a comprehensive list of Stoic virtues, defining them as crucial forms of practical knowledge for living. Wisdom, phronesis, is knowing what actions to take and what to avoid, leading to appropriate behavior, katakanta. It encompasses qualities such as sound judgment, caution, cleverness, sensibleness, and ingenuity. Self-control, sophrosun, involves discerning what is worth pursuing and what is best avoided, including traits like orderliness, propriety, modesty, and self-mastery. Justice, dikaiosune, is about giving each person and situation what they deserve, which includes piety, kindness, good fellowship, and fair dealings. Bravery, Andrea, means recognizing what is truly frightening and what is not, incorporating perseverance, fearlessness, generosity, and diligence. Adopting this perspective requires a fundamental shift in our beliefs and attitudes. We must abandon the notion that happiness stems from material possessions, and instead realize that it arises from living virtuously. When we prioritize external factors over virtue, we disconnect ourselves from the universal nature that unites us all, leading to negative emotions, anxiety, and feelings of isolation. Contrary to common belief, good and evil do not reside in the external things we desire or avoid, but rather in our own thoughts and beliefs, and the choices we make based on them. Epictetus, a prominent philosopher and former slave, encouraged his students to concentrate solely on their reasoned choice, prohairesis, the ability to use reason to determine how we categorize, respond to, and adjust to external events. From a moral standpoint, these external factors are indifferent. They are neither good nor bad in themselves. It is only the value we assign to them and how we exercise our reasoning and choices that defines their moral standing. Unchecked desires and aversions based on erroneous beliefs lead to toxic emotions, causing us instability and suffering. Our primary focus should be on applying virtue in each situation. As Epictetus succinctly stated, the essence of good is a particular kind of reasoned choice. Similarly, the essence of evil is another kind. What about externals? They merely provide the raw material for our reasoned choice, which determines what is good or bad based on our interactions with them. To find the good, we must not be dazzled by the external material. If our judgments about these materials are sound, our choices will be good. If our judgments are flawed, our choices will be bad. We control our thoughts and choices, not external events. By keeping external factors in perspective, we attain a steadiness, eustatheia, that aids us throughout life. We all face needs, duties, and obligations arising from our families, relationships, and work. Zeno was the first to categorize these external factors as preferred and dispreferred indifference. He asserted that, while these do not hold inherent moral value, they represent a secondary value essential to our lives. Preferences like health and wealth are more desirable than sickness and poverty. When we have them, they can enhance our pursuit of a virtuous life. However, health and wealth are often temporary, and much of life's events are beyond our control. As Epictetus pointed out, they are not up to us, to uk eft hemen. We must remember that the only things within our control, te f hemen, are our use of reason, our opinions about the value and truth of things, and the decisions we make in striving to act appropriately, katakonta. No matter the challenges we face, virtue remains attainable, offering steadiness and happiness. Antipater, the fifth leader of the Stoic school, emphasized bringing this practice into daily life. His principle of virtue revolved around consistently and unwaveringly choosing actions aligned with nature while rejecting those that are not. For Antipater, it was crucial that our self-interest does not overshadow our moral principles. He underscored the importance of marriage and family, ethical business practices, and how these choices contribute to a strong society, highlighting the duty of cooperating for the common good in both private and public life. Antipater's successor, Panaetius, further developed practical ethics. He shared his extensive insights on ethics with Roman elites, particularly through his association with the distinguished general Scipio Aemilianus. Panaetius expanded on Zeno's notion that we should engage in public life, producing what Cicero later deemed the greatest work on duties, a guide for emerging leaders in Roman society. Like Antipater, he stressed the importance of acting for the common good over personal gain. Panaetius believed that, while we cannot all be heroic figures like Scipio on the battlefield, we can each aspire to a greatness of soul, megalopsuchia, that benefits others, regardless of our position. This message resonated in a society increasingly marred by self-interest and corruption, establishing Stoicism as a guiding ethical model for the upper echelons of Roman society for the next 3 centuries. Inherent resources for thriving. One of the major misconceptions about Stoicism is overlooking its underlying positivity and joy. The Stoics were not devoid of emotion. Instead, they aimed to eliminate toxic emotions and cultivate positive ones, eupatheia, which encompass rational desire, balasis, instead of blind hope, rational caution, eulabeia, instead of blind fear, and positive feelings like gratitude, Eucharistia, joy, chara, and love for others, Philostorgia. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies an optimistic perspective on human nature. We are not inherently sinful or irreparably flawed. Rather, we possess the capacity to succeed in life. Cleanthes believed that each person is born with the necessary resources, aphormai, to flourish. He asserted that we all harbor the seeds of virtue within us, comparing ourselves to unfinished poems with the mission of crafting complete and beautiful works. Though we may encounter challenging environments and obstacles, he suggested, these are akin to the restrictions of poetry that lend it beauty, or how a trumpet's pipes shape its sound. Panaetius also emphasized these innate resources, encouraging young leaders to rise above the temptations and challenges of Roman public life. He believed that humans are naturally inclined toward virtue, and we can thrive and live nobly by aligning with our true nature and responsibilities while maximizing our given resources. Aulus Gellius recounts how Panaetius reminded his students of the pancratist, a type of Greek boxing akin to modern-day UFC. Life may deliver unexpected challenges, but like an accomplished athlete, we should prepare not just to face them, but to overcome. Arrius Didymus also discussed these innate resources, suggesting we each possess unique gifts, leading us to a virtuous life. Our individual temperaments guide us down different paths of ethical development. While we all begin from varied starting points, our inherent tools, coupled with dedicated effort, will direct us toward our goals. We must focus on our tasks, devote no time to what is not ours, and embody courage, fairness, and wisdom while managing our emotions. Epictetus elaborated on these inherent resources, identifying our senses, reason, and most importantly, our capacity for choice is crucial. He also highlighted moral preconceptions, prolepsiais, that guide our actions, asserting that education's primary goal is to refine these moral insights, echoing Panaetius's pancratist analogy, like polished weapons. Marcus Aurelius, too, expressed gratitude for these innate resources, emphasizing that the art of living resembles wrestling more than dancing. This struggle, the Stoics argue, is one we are well equipped to handle. Eliminating toxic emotions, the perils of hope, fear, and anger. If we overlook these inherent resources and fail to rid ourselves of false beliefs and the harmful emotions they spawn, we risk becoming ensnared in anxiety, anger, fear, envy, and various toxic states. This neglect ultimately undermines our familial responsibilities and our roles as leaders, regardless of our efforts. Today, we often hear that hope is not a strategy. While it critiques poor planning, this vague optimism is itself a toxic emotion. The Stoics emphasized that fear is merely the opposite of hope. Both emotions stem from projecting our thoughts and beliefs onto future outcomes we cannot control. Seneca reiterated a lesson from the Stoic teacher Hecato of Rhodes. By relinquishing hope, we also eliminate fear. Seneca consistently advised that instead of inviting unnecessary troubles and the anxiety they bring, we should concentrate on the present, where we can affect change. Similarly, anger was a significant concern for many Stoics. Athenodorus Canaanites, another Stoic advisor to Emperor Augustus, taught him a valuable technique. Whenever you sense anger rising, refrain from speaking or acting until you have recited the alphabet to yourself. Time and distance serve as effective remedies for anger, which often leads to greater issues than those that sparked it, as Seneca noted. During his 8 years of exile, he sought solace in the fact that he could decide to abandon anger and instead embrace reason. Toxic emotions can compromise our moral choices, emphasizing the importance of rejecting them. Only when we free ourselves from unhealthy attachments and feelings can we genuinely engage with others in relationships founded on mutual understanding and respect. This leads us to the ultimate truth. Virtue is the only true source of happiness. And there you have it, a deep dive into the powerful principles of Stoicism and how they can transform our daily lives. Remember, It's not about achieving perfection, but embracing the journey of self-improvement. By focusing on what's within our control, our thoughts, choices, and actions, we can navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and purpose. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you plan to incorporate Stoic principles into your life? Thanks for watching, and remember, persist and resist. Keep striving for that inner peace and virtue, and I'll see you in the next video.